we can take objects. Now it's time to put them back. Continuing with JavaScript and arrays, we are going to add in the functionality to drop objects. When we're doing this, it's going to be very much like take, and since we've already done that, with take, we're going to, under our actions, we'll just add in a new action, and this action will be drop. Let's go wander into our code here, and now, essentially, we need something like this. And let's just clean that up. Apparently I got one too many. Also if action take, but this isn't going to be take. This time it will be drop. And drop. So, very similar. We take something, we drop something, and our functions for these are going to be very, very similar. So I could simply copy paste and then update what I'm doing there. And I'm going to do that for, I'm going to copy paste a lot of it, and then we'll just get rid of, I'm just going to get rid of that right there. Now let's call this drop item. So now the first part is pretty similar, but the only thing we really care about, we don't care about where we are because the item is in our backpack, so it doesn't need the map location. So we just need to make sure we found it. And then we can just change this to drop. You drop the, we don't drop up the, you drop the item on the ground. So now we're going to drop that item on the ground, or you cannot do that. Now, what we need to do is we can rip the item out of our backpack here. So we can say backpack.splice, and this time we will do it, once again, item index, and we're getting rid of one item. So that it's kind of, before we push that item in our backpack, now we're removing it from our backpack. Then we need to push the item back onto the items list. So our items on ground array, we say items.push, and we're going to push the item that we are working with, and then we will say, well, that didn't type well, item locations dot push. And now this time when we push it, we're not going to push the item, we're pushing our location, which is stored, once again, in our map location variable. So it's very, very much the same. Drop the item on the ground, then we cut it from our backpack, and then we're going to push that item into the items on ground, and then we will take our location, the kind of partner array, because these two arrays are partners, and it's going to push that location. And because we're pushing both at the same time, and they always will have the same number of elements within the arrays, that will allow them to keep aligning together. So let's take a look at this. Oh wait, it's making it up. Helps to save it before we go over. All right, so let's go west, take knife, go east, drop knife, drop. Okay, broken. And it's broken because I forgot, this is the problem when we're copy pasting. The item index is not the items, because now when we're here, it's in the backpack. But if I'm asking for the if I'm asking for the item index, we don't want the item index of the items on ground, we want the items in our backpack. Because dropping is all about the backpack. Just put a comment, all about the backpack. And this is all about items on the ground. So now we grab backpack. Let's save that. Drop over here. West. Take knife. Go north. Drop knife. Because I was scared. Now I see a knife there. South. No knife. North. There's a knife. Take knife. Good. Let's see. If we go east, take flashlight. South, south, west, take box. Take box of matches. All right. Now let's go east, north, drop box of matches, drop knife, drop flashlight. Okay. So we can see something's happening here. South, north, I see a flashlight. So we've got a little issue here that it's only showing me that. Now if I just say items and look at that, we can see items actually has all three elements. Item locations has all three elements and they're all at position 4, but it's only showing me the one. So what we need to do is figure out how in our display where it's only showing us a single item on the ground, that we need to update that a little bit, because currently it says item on ground is that. But what we need to do, instead of just assigning it, we need to keep adding to it. So item on ground, each time it starts out as an empty string. Then if we have an item on the ground, we add to it, and then we add to it again, and we add to it again, instead of just setting it equal to whatever the last item in that list is. Because if we look at what are the items in the list, items, come on, ITEMS, there we go. The items, we see the last item in the list is the flashlight. It says we see a flashlight. So each time it went through that for loop, it said box of matches. Then it changed it to you see a knife. Then it changed it to you see a flashlight, instead of cycling through all three of them. So very small change, very subtle. We added a plus. This is inside the display function. We added a plus when we're cycling through the items that are on the ground. Now, west, take knife, south, take box of matches, north, east, drop knife, drop box of matches. And now we can see we see a knife here, we see box of matches, south, north, and we can now see we're seeing those two elements. So now our game is behaving properly when we drop our objects. And it was a simple little plus sign. That's all it took, because before we were assigning it for a single item. But just like our backpack contents, where we have the first item, the second, the third, so we cycle through all the items that we have, we do the same thing with the items array, which is our items that are currently visible on the ground.